This is the opportunity of a lifetime for people that have businesses and brands out there. Email us right now at advertise@hiphopun.com and you will get an opportunity to put your brand right in front of each video that we do. And let me tell you, the prices are crazy affordable. You definitely can afford it. Email us right now, advertise@hiphopun.com. We're going to start today with YNW Melly because he right now is in prison facing a double homicide charge, and he's crying out, basically saying that he's fearing for his life. And he went on to say, as of this moment today, I'm officially in fear for my life. He's pretty much said a new captain came in, and he's pretty much harsher than a lot of the other captains. Now, he was moved to another part of the jail where he's saying that he has no phone privilege, no television privilege, or no access to newspaper. He said they watch him at every move on camera, making sure I don't use the phone to tell the world how I'm being mistreated, discriminated, threatened physically, and harassed. He has a couple other things to say, but you know what I mean? Swan song.
Oh, you playing the violin on him.
Nah.
Damn.
But what you think? That's just satire. But what do you guys think, man? Swan song. What do you think?
You know what's crazy? Now, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, right? And he is yet to be proven guilty of this very heinous, disgusting crime that he is alleged to be had committed. It's disgusting. When you look at the transcripts, when you look at what happened that night in that vehicle, the relationship of the victim to YNW Melly, it is absolutely disgusting. Yeah. But he is innocent until proven guilty. A couple months ago, he was smiling. His family was smiling because everything seemed as though, oh God, he was on his way out. That's what he was saying. That's what his defense attorneys were saying. Right. All this stuff that's not evidence, we about to get up out of here. Right. Even though what we were hearing in the media, and we know the media can be misconstrued, and we know it can steer a narrative and things can have a slant to it, but it was being reported that he could have potentially even received a death penalty. This is how serious this was. So to look at all that and to wrap all that up and to hear what's going on with this young man currently in prison is very sad because obviously he's not lying. These things happen in jail. Right. He's not being discriminated against because to be discriminated against, somebody has to be treating you differently than they're treating everybody else. Right. And that's clearly not the case. I'm sure every inmate in there is being treated like shit unless you're a boss and got some certain things. You've been in there for a while and have gained certain privileges, which YNW Melly, if the evidence goes the way it goes and this continues to go the way it goes, you'll be sitting in there for a long time and you'll probably get some of those privileges that some of them OGs have. But until then, I'm sorry. If you did what they are convicting you of doing, you got to put your big boy motherfucking khakis on and deal with what's coming. And it's only going to get worse from here. Yeah, like you said, going to prison, that's a whole nother animal. We heard horror stories through our lives about people that went to prison and, how it's like 10 times worse than any jail that you're ever going to be in. When I say prison, I mean like you're going upstate, you're sentenced. Right. That's home. I ain't talking about the county jails and things like that you're in for a few months, sometimes a few years, depending on, the case and charge you get. But, yeah, you got to grow up. And like I said, you just has to serve, as an example, that when you make a particular bed, you have to lay in it, right? Not saying that you're guilty or anything like that, but when certain choices, are made, things happen, police and detectives start collecting evidence. If they got evidence that points to you and whatnot, and you got to sit. Yep. You got to sit and you got to hopefully prove your innocence. But if you happen to be guilty, either whether you're guilty or innocent, I think a lot of the young children, I know they won't because they're gonna bump their head, right? Right. Yeah. You need to look at this and say, okay, am I really built for this? See, I was never built for no prison. I'll tell you right now, I'm not built for that shit. Mm-hmm. Some people ain't built. Now you survive, you do what you got to do if you put in a situation, but like that's something you shouldn't aspire to be. You should be inspiring. It's way harder, in my opinion, to do the right thing out here. To make sure you're trying to pay your taxes, to make sure you're taking care of your children, paying your bills on time. Yep. It's easy to go to jail. Right. I can do some shit now and get locked up and be out of society and have an estate taking care of me and begging people for phone calls and begging people to put money on my books. You're dragging people to hell when you do that. So the kids and the youth and need to look at this and say, okay, this is what comes with this. Because that's good. If you make this bad decision, an emotional decision, I always say this. Yeah. Within seconds, it could cost you your life. Yeah. Whether either you in the ground or you setting up in somebody's prison, them telling you what to do. Yep.
So that's the realest, information that you probably going to get. And I know a lot of people. I see kids coming up in the suburbs and things like that that really want, you know what I mean, to be a part of this lifestyle, not knowing like, okay, it's not a badge of honor, my nigga. It's not.
No. In most situations, if they're getting put in a situation where it's him or that gangster they idolizing, or they telling on you, they going back home and they turn into that suburban lifestyle.
Yep.
And like you said, I ain't built for prison either.
Right.
And I don't know any real men that are necessarily built for prison outside of the very few that are seriously mentally unstable. Shit. Who the hell would want to spend time with a man 24 hours a day? Who would want to be told what to do? Who would want to be stared at while they taking a shit or getting told how much they can eat, or any type of freedom that we go out here and we enjoy without even thinking about enjoying it, walking into the refrigerator as many times as we want to, putting on socks the way we want. It's a whole bunch of shit. And it's very few people built to live in that type of slave-like environment. So even the hardest of the hard, even going in there at first, it may seem as though they cool. They may be smiling on the outside, but once the visitations start going away, and once people stop, you know what I mean, stop writing, and then phone calls from the girls start going down, and you realize you done snuck on Instagram and she done got a whole new dude and a kid and everything else. Once the reality starts smacking you in your mouth, the hardest of the hard cry too, man. So to the youth, to the people that are aspiring to do these beautiful things out here to change their lives for their family, leave the other bullshit in the shit, because if you bring it over here, it's only going to be magnified and the circumstances will get even worse.
They waiting to lock you up.
Yep. Facts.
They just are. Like, they can't wait. They got money allocated for you right now to be locked up for making a bone-headed decision. Don't be like this dude and make a bonehead allegedly decision.
Word.
You know?
Indeed.
Well, somebody else who may have made a bonehead decision, we're still trying to wait to see.
Oh, shit.
It's Tory Lanez.